to Desperate in Cleveland, where we do our best to make your team better. I'm Greg, along here with Josh. Welcome to our very first show of Desperate in Cleveland. We'll be discussing many topics, primarily Cleveland sports. We'll talk Browns, we'll talk Indians, we'll talk Cavaliers. We might even throw some Buckeye in there too. Why not? They're our only winning team. So Josh, we're going to start off with the Cleveland Browns today. Disappointing game yesterday.
Yeah.
Home opener, Kansas City came into town. Once again, for the second straight game, we're up 14-10 at halftime, and we can't score in the second half. The first week we lost 17-10 or 17-14, I believe, to Tampa Bay, and this week we lost 16-14. So we've dropped 2 games by a combined 5 points. What is wrong, and what little adjustments can we make to get back on track and hopefully get a win, get our first win of the year?
Win some games here. I think first off, the quarterback play has been pretty suspect. I mean, Jake Delhomme and Seneca Wallace are basically at this point in time career backups. I mean, let's not kid anybody. They're just stopgaps to our future, somewhere 10 years down the line, future quarterback that we're going to have for the Browns. But you know, to couple that with the quarterback situation, I don't really feel like the play calling in second halves of either game has been very good.
What specifically hasn't been good? Like, do you feel they're not mixing it up? Are the plays that they're calling, they're not effective? Or?
Well, I mean, the great examples in this game, Seneca Wallace is not a pocket passer. He's obviously a more mobile quarterback, a Mike Vick type, or you know, a Donovan McNabb, Dante Culpepper style quarterback. So, you know, doing some rollouts, play action passing, stuff like that to utilize both his arm and his leg would have helped the Browns to probably move the ball a little bit more consistently in the second half. And obviously, the lack of a running game that we had in this game. I think combined the Browns had maybe 60 yards rushing in the game. I think it was closer to 50. And it's just not going to cut it. And obviously when our best back is Peyton Hillis, who, you know, was just a throw-in guy in the Brady Quinn deal, you know, that's obviously a little bit of a problem.
Right, and Hillis is a guy who has played running back and has played fullback.
Yeah.
Primarily, you look at the guy, and he's a fullback body, at least. He looks like a Mike Allstott type out there. You give him the ball, he runs it right up the middle. He puts his head down, and he looks for contact. That's what he does.
Exactly. You know, he's a straight-ahead runner, and I think that's where losing Montario Hardesty's a big blow, because Hardesty was a power runner, but he had great vision. He was a quick guy. To go along with the offensive problems, our wide receivers are non-existent currently. You know, Muhammad Massaquoi, Brian Robisky are great names on paper, good guys for to make the team better in the future, but obviously right now there's little to no separation by the wide receivers. They don't get off the ball very well, so, you know, I think they had 2 catches in this game.
Yeah,
so.
I know Massaquoi had the 1 catch for 9 yards,
Yes.
and that was it. And he's your number 1 guy.
Mm-hmm.
And with all respect to Cribbs, who's come along nicely as a wide receiver, and he had the 1 nice long touchdown catch there, but Massaquoi is a guy that you drafted in the high rounds. You expected him to be a number 1 guy. He had a fairly nice rookie season, but he's not. He doesn't appear to be making that next step.
Well, yeah,
and we're only 2 games in. But
well, I'm not 100% sure what the Browns were expecting from Massaquoi. Obviously, they actually drafted Robisky first. A lot of people don't remember they drafted Robisky first in the second round, and then took Massaquoi later. You know, he was a guy that had a really good junior year campaign for Georgia. Did not have a great senior season, so you know, you don't really know what you're going to get from him. He looks talented. He kind of reminds me of Braylon Edwards. Shows you flashes, but obviously he doesn't have the attitude. But it's like mental lapses, you know. And Robisky would be a very good third receiver, I think, at this point in time. You know, a good possession guy, kind of like a Brian Finneran or somebody like that, Ed McCaffrey. That would be a good possession guy, but it's not really going to be your breakout style.
How much do you think losing Montario Hardesty in the preseason has hurt them? Because you got 2 running backs, both are right now average at best. Hillis is good goal line guy, short yard situations, but how much would just having Hardesty there maybe to push Harrison to be better?
Yeah, you know, looking back, we didn't really get to see Hardesty very much. So, I mean, do we really even know what we have in him? I mean, he ran the ball hard in the preseason. In the one game he obviously played, seemed like he could read the holes fairly well, but you know, we won't know until next year what we have in him, and unfortunately, you know, there are some guys in the draft that they could go after. You know, Brandon Sain out of Ohio State kind of reminds me of the same type of runner. Shows you flashes, but you don't really know what you're going to have. I mean, so it's going to be pretty interesting to see where the Browns will go with the running back situation and the wide receiver situation, because can't really say that they're going to want to take another wide receiver in the first round.
And you see it every year. The Browns have this running back who underperforms the first half of the year. The second half he comes on, tears it up, be it William Green, Lee Suggs, Jerome Harrison last year, no matter who it is, tears it up the last 4 games of the year. You think, oh my gosh, this guy's going to run for 1,500 yards next year. But I think what happens is when the Browns get to the second priority of the year, they've got 2 wins, 3 wins, and they're playing, I don't want to be mean, but they're playing some of these scrub teams like in Jacksonville and Oakland last year who aren't going to make the playoffs. So maybe mentally they've given up.
Well, yeah, you know, the last 4 wins the Browns had last year, let's not kid ourselves. Other than the Pittsburgh win, I mean, wins against Oakland and Kansas City and Jacksonville aren't exactly, it's not going to set the world on fire. So, you know, optimism going into the season. Yes, I had a lot. Every single year I look for the Browns to do better. I am just unbelievable.
How does that work out for you?
Yeah, you know, that's kind of where the desperate in Cleveland slogan came from. You know, we're desperate for a winner, and I think that Cleveland has become the butt of the jokes for everybody. It's funny, especially after the LeBron debacle. It's funny to sit here and make fun of the Cleveland teams and laugh at our plight, but you know, one of them, if not one of, but it might be the most loyal fan base in all of sports, where, you know, the Browns are going to probably sell out every game like they do every year, and you know, the fans just want to see them do well.
And that'll do it for today's show about the Cleveland Browns. Tune in next time and we'll cover our beloved Cleveland Indians. Josh, tell us what we'll be talking about with them.
We're going to talk about where the team's going next year, some of the moves that they're going to have to make. Obviously, got a lot of young guys. What kind of talent are they going to be bringing in? And I'm going to tell you why Grady Sizemore will not be with the Indians next year.
So feel free, if you'd like to, comment below if you have any questions, comments about today's show. If we sucked, please let us know. If we were okay, please let us know as well. Anything you'd like to add to that, Josh?
Keep it PG-13. We don't want to die.
Yes, this is a family show, so please keep it clean. Any hate mail may be directed to Josh's personal address. As always, stay desperate, Cleveland. See you next time.
You make it up as you go.